Hello everyone, and my today's review is devoted to the Onda V972. It's another Retina tablet which I received for already about 3 weeks ago, and now I'm ready to present the video review of this tablet. First, let's take a look at the box. As you can see, there is some technical specs here. The tablet has an quad core ARM Cortex A7 Allwinner A31 CPU. It has also 9.7-inch Retina screen. The screen is almost the same as in the previously tested Chuvi V99. It has 2 GB of random access memory. It's a DDR3 random access memory. It has a 64 bits random access memory interface. It has dual cameras, and the back camera is 5 megapixels with autofocus. It also can shoot 10 frames per second, so the tablet supports a super high definition video and so on. And here you can see the appearance of this tablet. Also, there is a detailed technical specs in Chinese and English at the side of this box. This tablet has 16 GB of flash memory. It has a so-called 8-core GPU. In reality, it's PowerVR SGX544MP2 GPU, and it is also a very powerful GPU, which you'll be able to see later. The tablet is only 9.8 mm thick. Nothing very special here. And now let's take a look inside of the box. As you can see, the cradle for the tablet is not so perfect. The box is rather hard, but it's not as hard as some other boxes of the tablet, so it is necessary to pack it a bit better than some other tablets. I received the screen protector with this tablet, and there is also a data cable. It is rather short, but also it's rather thick, so it's good enough. There is a 5 volts 2.5 milliamperes charger. It's also rather good quality. There is an adapter. It's a quality control card and nothing else. As you can see, no OTG cable, no HDMI cable, no headphones with this tablet, so the set is rather poor. Now let's take a look at the tablet itself. What we can see, the front panel is a perfect Retina 2048 by 1536 pixel screen, and the frontal 2 megapixels camera. There is also a screen protector installed at the factory. The back panel is made of metal, and there is another 5 megapixels camera with autofocus. This camera has a very good quality for the tablets. It is better than the camera of previously tested Enol Flame. It has no flash, and it has 5 megapixels and autofocus, but the quality of pictures is better, I would say, than the quality of Flames camera. Also, it can shoot the 720p and Full HD video. At the left side of the tablet we have only two buttons. Here is the power button and here is the home button. There is no volume rocker in this tablet. And at the right side there is a headphones jack, a mini HDMI, micro SD, micro USB, microphone and a couple of speakers here. Now it's time to turn the tablet on. First, as always, the screen. The screen is absolutely perfect in this tablet. I would say it's the best screen I've ever seen. The previously tested Chuvi V99 also had a very good screen, and this screen is about the same quality and maybe even a bit better. As you can see, there are perfect colors, and the native home screen, the picture of the home screen is really nice, with a bright and very live colors. The brightness is very high on the screen. The maximum brightness is about 400 nits, and the minimum brightness is also rather high. I would say maybe it's a bit too high for the complete darkness, but generally the screen is really good. What else is interesting about the screen? Of course, it has no dead pixels, it has a really good contrast ratio, it has almost no flares, so it's absolutely perfect. I would say it's a really good screen. And the matrix of the screen is the same LG matrix which is used in the iPad of the 3rd generation. Now let's take a look at the settings. As you can see, the interface is a bit different from the ordinary tablets. So Onda has modified the standard interface of the Android 4.1.1, but generally it's the same. There are a bit different icons, as you can see, but generally it's the same. So this tablet has a universal Wi-Fi module and no Bluetooth module. There are many display settings. There is a smart color and intelligent backlight in the latest firmware of the Onda, but I don't use it. Also, the tablet has 2 GB of the internal memory, in addition to the about 12 GB of the internal SD card. And this 2 GB is a rather good variant, I should say, because it allows to install a lot of different applications, so it's rather convenient. The battery in this tablet is 8000 mAh, 3.7 volts battery. The battery life is maybe not so perfect, I would say. So it's from 4.5 to about 6 hours. The Chuvi V99 with the 10,000 mAh battery had a somewhat better battery life, but still it's rather convenient for most of the applications you may imagine. The tablet has the full set of languages, as you can see, so you may choose any language you like. And the tablet has Android 4.1.1 on board, and the current firmware version is 1.32. There was already 5 different firmwares. It was 1.02, 1.1, 1.2, 1.21, and this is the last version for today, 1.32. It is still not so perfect in the stability, so maybe the later firmware will have a somewhat better battery life and stability. But as you can see, Onda works on this question and releases the new firmwares about twice or thrice per month. Now let's check the touch screen. The tablet has 10 points multi-touch and it works very good. So absolutely no problems, as you can see, with this touch screen. I like it very much. It is fast and, as you can see, absolutely no problems here. Now let's check the Wi-Fi signal. As you can see, the tablet shows about -45 dBm, and I believe there is a limitation at this level, so maybe the real signal strength is better than -45 dBm, but even near the router it shows only -45 dBm. In reality there is no problems with the Wi-Fi signal, so tablet works fluently and good with the Wi-Fi. It's absolutely okay. Now let's check the root. The tablet is rooted, as you can see. The first 2 firmwares were rooted out of the factory, so the tablet was rooted without any additional moves. But beginning from the firmware version of 1.2, the tablet is not rooted, so you have to root it by yourself. I'll give you the links to the instruction how to do it in the description to this video. Now let's check the internet. The tablet has a Retina screen, so maybe it's not so perfectly fluent, but as you can see, it's quite good in this respect. It's quite usable. Also, it has a quad core CPU. It's only 1 GHz of frequency, but it's quad core, and it's not the traditional Cortex A9, but it's Cortex A7. It's a more modern version of the Cortex architecture from ARM, but basically it has a bit lower productivity than the Cortex A9. On the other hand, it supports the newer version of the Neon instructions. It supports the newer version of the FPU, and it is absolutely 100% compatible with the Cortex A15 architecture, which is for today the most advanced and the fastest variant of the real-life ARM architecture. Maybe in the later firmware the CPU frequency will be improved to 1.2 GHz. There are some information about it, so it's quite possible. But today it's only 1008 MHz. So in general, as you can see, it works quite well. The tablet has 2 GB of random access memory, and there is more than 1 GB free after the load. So in this respect, it's quite good. That's it. Okay, now let's check the YouTube.
Okay, Glass, record a video. Okay, Glass, hang out with the fly. Train is actually called Blueberry Trainwreck. As a consultant, I am a police officer on the road. His blood test showed Jeff was 4 times the legal limit, with nearly 22 nanograms in his system. 제가 코브라를 이겼습니다.
So as you can see, the HD YouTube video works quite well here, and it looks also quite well because of the perfect screen of this tablet.
If this were a dry piece of tarmac, the Ferrari would not strip. 650 horsepower, this has 500. Ferrari's got more torque and it's lighter. Much, much lighter.
So that's it. As you can see, you won't have any problem with the YouTube. Now let's continue with the Google Maps. As you can see, it is very fluent, especially for such a screen resolution. So it works even more than quite well, as you can see. Very good. Now let's check the Play Store. This tablet is compatible with most of the applications and games out of the box. It's not 100% compatible, but about 90% of my usual applications are available in the Play Store, including all of the games I usually use to test my tablets. The other applications may be also installed quite easily using the APK files, or you can simply adapt your tablet by using some applications. I'll give you the links in the description to this video. So absolutely no problems with the market, as you can see. A lot of different programs, absolutely nice. Now it's time to test the performance of this tablet. First, as always, the AnTuTu benchmark, and here you can see the result of the AnTuTu 3.1.1. Let's take a look into the details. So as you can see, the tablet has 4 cores with the comparatively low frequency 1008 MHz. I expected a bit higher frequencies for the Allwinner A31, about 1.2 GHz, but for now we have what we have. Maybe in the future firmware the frequency will be a bit higher, at least I hope so. Now let's take a look at the results. The random access memory result is 1486. It's a little bit lower result than for Rockchip 3066 tablets, but not so much lower, especially considering the much lower CPU frequency. So the memory frequency is also 1.6 times lower, but the result is about 15 to 20% lower than for the Rockchip 3066. The Allwinner A31 has a 64 bits memory interface, so actually it should be even a bit faster. For instance, the previously tested Rhombus W30 with the also 64 bits random access memory interface had in this test about 3000 points. Of course it has a higher CPU frequency and the frequency of the random access memory, but the results are still higher. Next, the CPU Integra results are substantially better than for the Rockchip 3066, and the CPU fluent point results are about the same as for the Rockchip 3066. The Rockchip 3066 has 2 Cortex A9 cores working on the much higher frequency 1.6 GHz, so it's quite a good result for for low frequency cores Cortex A7, and as you can see, the tablet performs very well. The tablet based on Rockchip 3066 Chuvi V99, which I tested about 2 months ago, gave in this test in such resolution the result of about 9.6 thousand points, but the actual feeling is very different. So I would say that this tablet, the new Onda V972, is much faster, of course. Also, it makes sense to take a look at the graphics tests. The two-dimensional graphics gives 853 points. It's a normal result, especially for such resolution. And the great result is for the three-dimensional graphics. As you can see, it's 3251 points. Especially this result is good considering the screen resolution of this tablet. So the many tablets, even based on Mali 400 MP4 with the lower screen resolution, gives the lower results in this test. So it's quite good. Also, we can see the perfect results in the database input-output tests and SD card write and read. Also, this tablet has a fast flash memory integrated, and the result of the Antutu benchmark show this speed. So these results are very good, again, especially for the Retina tablet. Now let's check the quadrant. And as you can see, the result is 3051 points. It's not such a perfect result for the tablet. Actually, the Rockchip 3066 tablets gave us somewhat better results. But the quadrant is a bit obsolete. It's a matter of fact. So compare it to the Rockchip 3066 tablets. This one has about 1000 point lower results. And still it is quite good, as you can see. Next, let's run the Velamo. And here is the results. In HTML5 we have 1140 points, and in Metal we have about 364 points. These results are also substantially lower than for the Rockchip 3066 tablets, but I already mentioned several times that the Velamo doesn't support 4-core CPUs, so it only supports the dual cores, and that's why the quad core tablets show here substantially low results. Even the Ramos W30 with a very powerful quad core Cortex A9 CPU showed the lower results here than the Rockchip 3066 tablets with dual core CPU with a bit higher frequency. So the frequency matters here, not the number of cores. And still these results are not so bad, as you can see. Compare it to some other tablets. So that's it. Now let's test the Nanomark. And here is the result, 42.1 frames per second, and it's a good result, but there is not so much different compared to the previous generation of the Retina tablets based on Xerox chip 3066. We had about 35 frames per second there, and we have about 42 frames per second here. But the real difference in the real life games is much higher, I would say, and I'll show it to you a bit later. Next, let's check the benchmark TG. This test is not so perfectly fluent. It shows a comparatively bad results. I think it's because of the imperfect drivers of the GPU for today. Because in reality the installed in the Allwinner A31 GPU, it's a PowerVR SGX544MP2. It is much more powerful than the Melee 400s. In theory, it's about 2 times more powerful. But the result is not perfect. In this test, as you can see, it's only 11.4 frames per second. So it's even a bit less than for the Chuvi V99, and it's really not so fast, as you could see. Now let's take a look at the results of the GL benchmark. And here the results are a bit better. The fill rate speed is not perfect according to this test. In reality, it should be about 3 to 4 times higher. But the test is also imperfect. Unfortunately, for today we don't have a better test for the Android. Maybe a bit later we'll receive the full 3D mark for the Android. We'll get a better instrument to test the 3D performance of the tablets, but for today we have what we have. Also, you can take a look at the results of Egypt HD. This tablet is completely compatible with the Egypt HD SAM, so the results are quite good. I should say it's 17 frames per second in the off-screen mode, and in the native mode the results a bit lower, because the off-screen mode it's a full HD resolution, and the native resolution of this tablet is higher than the full HD. And the most difficult test for the tablet is the Egypt HD fixed time step. As you can see, it shows 11 frames per second. And this is also a very good result. It's much higher than for the Xerox chip 3066 tablets and for the most of other tablets on the market. Next, let's test the new benchmark. It's the Epic Citadel. So this test is based on the Unreal 3 engine, and as you can see it has a perfect quality of the picture. It is very good. As you can see, it's absolutely fluent. And now let's run the benchmark. You can see the frames frequency in the left lower corner of the screen, and as you can see, it's about 60 frames per second. It's an absolutely perfect result, especially considering the resolution of the screen of this tablet. So it's more than 2 times higher than for the Rockchip 3066 tablets, and you'll see the results very soon. The Unreal 3 engine was always perfectly fast, but in this test it's very good. So as you can see, it's 44.0 frames per second in the high quality mode. It's an absolutely perfect result. And you can see the resolution of the screen. It's 4048 by 1440 pixels. Very, very good. And by the way, if you have the rooted tablet, you may install the full screen applications on the market, and then you have a full screen tablet, a real full screen tablet. As you can see, it's very convenient. Now we can test some videos. The Allwinner tablets were always perfect in the video playing, so of course there will be absolutely no problems with any videos, especially with such a perfect screen. And of course, no problems with any videos we test now. The tablets should, these tablets should be compatible with any videos with a resolution up to 4K, which is 4 times higher than the Full HD. So of course the 720p videos like this is a really easy task for the Allwinner A31. And now let's test some games. Let's start with the simplest two-dimensional games. Sure, the Tetris is an easy task for the quad core tablet, but still we have to test it. Sure, everything is perfectly fluent, as you can see. Let's run the popular PowerVR HD. Sure, with such a powerful GPU, there is absolutely no problems with such a comparatively simple games like PowerVR also. As you can see, it's absolutely fluent and runs quite well. The Angry Bird Star Wars, it has the same engine with the PowerVR, so the speed should be also quite similar. And again, it's perfectly fluent, as you can see. And now let's continue with the more complicated three-dimensional games. Let's start with the Bubble Rising 3D. And as you can see, here is the first surprise. The game is absolutely and perfectly fluent. Despite the extremely high resolution of this tablet, this game, and it's not the easiest game, it runs absolutely perfectly. Now let's try to make the graphics a bit better. The quality was set to very low. Now let's take a look how it will work on the average quality. The ultra high quality is a bit too much for such resolution, but the game looks very well in average graphics mode too. So let's take a look. So as you can see, with such a much better graphics, the game is still absolutely fluent and playable. And now it looks also much better. Now let's continue with the death rally. So as you can see, the death rally is absolutely and perfectly playable too. It looks quite nice, and it's absolutely fast and fluent. Okay, now let's continue with the Eternity Warriors. As you can see, the game is also quite fluent. It is much more fluent than on the Rockchip 3066 tablets. But there are some problems with graphics in this game. As you can see, the monsters are invisible here, except for the bosses. The bosses are visible. It is either the problem of the game or the problem of the GPU drivers in this tablet. So I think it should be resolved in the future versions of the game or in the future versions of the firmware. The Onda presents the new firmwares every 2 weeks about, so We expect the new firmware during this week or maybe the next week, and we'll see what will be there. But I can say it is the only game with the graphical problems among those I tested. It is playable, as you can see, but it doesn't look too good. Now let's run the death trigger. As you can see, this game is also quite fluent and playable. Now let's check another nice game, it's a Juggernaut. So as you can see, this three-dimensional games is again perfectly playable. It's not completely compatible with the Retina screens, but it is absolutely playable. Despite it's not perfectly compatible, you can play it quite well. And the last game for today is the Hero's Call. And this game is also absolutely fluent and playable, as you can see. Absolutely no problem with the picture quality and the frame rate. So now it's time to make some conclusions about this tablet. First, it has a perfect Retina HD IPS screen with a very nice colors, a very nice picture quality. It's very bright with a good contrast, so the screen is almost perfect. Its only drawback is maybe that the minimum brightness is a bit too high. So if you are going to use it in the darkness, you need to install some special additional programs from the market to dim the display a bit. Then it has the newest quad-core Cortex A7 CPU with a very powerful GPU, and it has 2 GB of random access memory, so there are no problems with the free random access memory in this tablet, which is also very good. Also, this tablet has a couple of very good cameras, especially for the tablet. So the frontal camera is simple good 2 megapixels web camera, so it's absolutely good for the Skype and similar applications. And the back camera is a 5 megapixels camera with autofocus, without the flash but with autofocus, and the picture quality is also much better than most of other Chinese tablets, and it's about the same quality as the for instance picture quality of the iPhone 4 of the first generation. It has the same camera module, or a bit more advanced camera module than it was installed in the iPhone 4, not the iPhone 4S. So the picture quality in these cameras are quite good. Also, it has a rather good battery. It's 3.7 volts 8000 milliamperes battery, but the battery life is not so perfect. It's from 4.5 to 6 hours in average. I hope the battery life will be improved in the future firmwares, because the tablet, despite it's a quad-core tablet, so it's a powerful tablet, but on the other hand, the tablet has Cortex A7 CPUs, which should be a very economic and the battery saving CPUs. The GPU is very powerful and rather hot, of course. It's a PowerVR SGX544MP2. It's about 1.5 times more powerful than the GPU of the iPad 2. And it's almost as powerful as the GPU of iPad 3. Of course, it's less powerful than the GPU of the iPad 4, but still, as you can see, it is quite good. It's absolutely good for all the games I tested. I was surprised by such a good game performance of this tablet, especially considering its screen resolution. So surprisingly, this tablet may be called the gaming tablet. The performance is good in most applications. It's not perfect sometimes, but again, it's a screen resolution. So if you want such a perfect screen, which is absolutely not worse than the screens of the iPads, because the same matrix is used, then sometimes maybe you'll see some lags in this tablet, but generally it's quite fast, I should say. Also, there is another little problem with this tablet. The sound in headphones is not so perfect. The sound is a bit noisy. When the speaker is working, then there are no problems, but in the headphones there are some problems with the sound. And another problem is the imperfect firmware. The Onda produces the new firmwares about twice a month, but the current firmware is still not perfectly stable. So I expect the better stability and the better battery life and maybe the better performance, better CPU frequency in the future firmwares. But in all the other respects, this tablet is very good. It's almost perfect because it has a perfect screen, a lot of random access memory, very powerful CPU and GPU. It is fast. It has a potentially good battery. It has a very good building quality, by the way. So I can recommend it to anyone, actually. It's a very good tablet. And now let me announce some my future reviews. The next review, I think, will be devoted to the Onda Venus tablet, which is based on the Actions ATM7025 Quad Core CPU with the Vivante GPU, so it's also another new platform for the tablets. And the next review will be devoted to the younger brother of the currently tested Onda V972. It will be the Onda V812. It has also an IPS screen, but it's a 8 inches IPS screen with a standard resolution 1024 by 768 points. So the performance of this tablet should be even better. And we'll see what is capable for. I now test both the tablets. I have them both in my hands now, so you may expect the reviews rather soon. And that's it for today, so thank you for attention.